I believe strongly in the rights of women and in the need for a continuing feminist movement. I've been a feminist all my life.
I'm often called a misogynist by various feminists. I think there's something very insidious about this new third-wave feminism that we're seeing brewing.
And today, we still need a strong feminist and Me Too movement.
I think the idea of toxic masculinity is a ruse, and I don't think there's anything really substantial when it comes to the pay gap. I think the statistics are skewed.
When I run up against people who fundamentally disagree with me, it's really a question usually of education and of explaining to them that this is a people's movement. Hi, I'm Judi.
Dominic, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So, Dominic, why do you think we're here today?
I think we're here to talk about women's issues, and I see the modern feminist movement as pushing victimization as opposed to empowerment. It almost seems, and I'm going to say this from a personal perspective, it almost seems that the idea is to castigate men to a certain degree.
I think that's an old idea.
For instance, the Me Too movement has been almost 100% women, you know, almost 100%. And then we're getting the little bits here and there. Now, I know a lot of guys who were sexually harassed.
I know a lot of guys who self-identify as feminists. I think the Me Too movement is a really necessary movement. It's a we too, not just a me too, it's a we too. It's men and women banding together to say that harassment is not okay. Traditionally, it's been more aimed at women because there's more sexual harassment of women.
I don't know about that either.
Really?
And I'll tell you why. I think there's a dual standard here.
Have you been harassed sexually?
I have. I've actually been touched as working in bars. I've had my genitals squeezed. And you know something? In all fairness,
how'd you react?
In all fairness, I didn't mind it.
Was it by a man or a woman?
It was by I would have minded it if it was a bloke.
Okay. And what if it was a bloke?
I would have been pissed off.
Right. And why would you have been pissed off?
Because it's a bloke.
And why would you have been pissed off? Because you didn't give that person the right to touch you.
Exactly.
And that's what women are saying.
But what I'm saying is this.
You don't have the right to touch me unless I tell you you have the right to touch me.
I understand 100%.
That's bottom line
But what I'm
what
saying
it's
is
about.
this. Nobody's accusing people like Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt of sexual harassment. Why are they accusing Harvey Weinstein? Because he's not very attractive and he's morbidly obese. If it was Brad Pitt, most women would be all over it. Oh, God, come over here, touch me front bottom.
Maybe it's because Brad Pitt hasn't been out there harassing women in the way that Harvey Weinstein has.
That's a possibility, but it's not really a probability, especially in Hollywood the way it is. What I don't want is for men in general to be blamed for what the minority's done.
And I can understand that. It's not a question of blame. It's a question of all of us really understanding what the dynamics have been historically. It's not men versus women, it's men and women.
Obviously, the statistics are that women make 82 cents on the dollar, whatever it is.
Right.
What are the factors that determine that?
Because traditionally, men have been in the position of deciding what wage is. They are in the power position.
So let me give you
bosses.
this. In middle and upper management, most people negotiate their salaries. They do. They go in and say, well, I've got this amount of experience, I'd like this as opposed to that, right? Are you saying that women are just not as good as negotiating their salaries?
A lot of women do have a hard time really negotiating their salaries because they're in a situation where they're more dependent on a male for the employment opportunities, right?
Okay.
And so you're coming in a one-down position to begin with.
So it is victimization. So what you're saying is you do believe that women are victims, and the whole movement is based on...
Victimization in the sense of they are treated as less than, yes, but that doesn't mean that they have to
Well, they're treated differently.
But they don't have to remain victims.
How about this?
And one of the good things that's happened is that you can no longer ask wage history, okay?
Right.
When you apply for a job, and that's going to help.
I don't know why women just don't start businesses, have Fortune 100 companies, and just hire women in the highest paid positions. I don't know why we have to legislate this. I don't know why we can't just let the market dictate.
Because the market hasn't been fair. Okay, that's assuming that the market has been fair.
People should just get together and have these kind of conversations. I think that men and women can work together, and I think women should empower themselves by starting companies, employ women to powerful positions, and lead by example. I don't think the victimization of women through the women's movement is good for anybody, women included.
Right now, it is time to tear down the patriarchy. We're fighting for opportunity. We're fighting to be treated as equals in the workforce and as equals in terms of our relationships with men, to really see that as fundamental to who we are as people. This is not a me movement or a you movement, it's an us movement. And the only way it's going to change on any kind of real fundamental level is when men and women work together to change that. We need this continuing awareness of really, yes, how far we've come, but also how far we've got to go. Welcome to the fight.
Fantastic.
I really enjoyed my conversation with Dominic, and I think what we found was that on many issues, we're not all that far apart.
I actually thought that was a cathartic exercise. I really enjoyed the conversation with Judi. I think more than anything, she's a very nice person, and I know she's extremely learned, so I can learn a lot from her.
And I think when he focuses more on what it means for all of us, inclusively, men and women, and how empowering that can really be for all of us, that he's beginning to understand his knuckles don't have to scrape the bottom of the floor quite the way they used to.
I think that a lot more conversations like this should happen between people of polar opinions.